Let's say Jennifer has severed an artery. You got bright red spurting blood that's coming out of the wound, which can be hard to control. So my very first step is to put on my gloves before I touch the victim because I don't want to get any bloodborne pathogen. Put direct pressure, hold that for about 5 minutes. You should, with pressure, get control of it. If that gauze completely gets saturated, you can put additional dressings on, but you never take that first set of dressings off because it's like ripping a scab off of a wound. So you always keep that sterile dressing on. You can apply additional dressings if they get too big and bulky. You can take those off, but not the initial one. So then once you get control of the bleeding, you can apply an elastic roller bandage, which will keep the gauze in place, and you just roll that up. So this elastic roller bandage is self-tightening. You've got to be careful that you don't put it on so tight that it cuts off circulation below the injury. So I'm going to roll that up. There's a couple different ways you can apply the elastic roller bandage or tie it off. You could tuck it in after you get to the end of the roll. That's one way. If you don't need additional direct pressure, just tuck it in. If you need additional direct pressure, you take one piece, bring it around. So this is essentially one piece that I'm going to tie to this other one. And what that allows me to do is put direct pressure equivalent to the force of my thumb anywhere along that bandage. I can move that down, and it's self-tightening. So once you tighten down the elastic, it will cinch down and secure itself. Let's say the injury was up here, and I needed additional pressure above the wound. I can tie off there, and it's just like my thumb pressing down, giving me additional control of that bleeding or additional pressure. Once I apply the elastic roller bandage, I want to recheck for circulation to make sure that the bandage itself didn't cut off circulation below the injury site. And as long as she's got circulation, then if it was severe enough to put a pressure bandage on, you should go seek medical care after that because the bleeding could start up again, and that can be life-threatening. That could put her into shock if she loses too much blood. All right, so we've applied a pressure bandage, but we can't stop the bleeding. She's still losing a significant amount of blood. They make commercial tourniquets that you can slide on and then tighten down, but if you don't have a commercial tourniquet, you can make one. You could use your shoelace, you could use your belt, anything that works as cordage, but the cordage you use is extremely important. If it's too small of a diameter, it's going to cut into the skin and do damage to the underlying tissue. So it'll damage vessels, it'll damage nerves, and even when you take that off, circulation may not be reestablished. So this would not be as good of a choice as this larger bandage that spreads the force out. You want to go about 2 or 3 inches above where the wound is, and then just like you would tie your shoelace, start the knot that way. Then you'll put something that's rigid enough that won't break. This is not really the best choice, but again, I'm showing you improvised methods to control bleeding. So this may be all that you have. Tie another knot, just like you're tying your shoelace, over the top of that to secure that in place and give it something to catch onto. And then you're going to start to twist and tighten it down. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because it'd pinch your skin, and it's going to be very, very painful. But you're going to keep twisting so that it tightens down and cuts that artery off. If this is a situation where care is delayed, there's a good chance that she's going to lose that limb below the injury site. But it's always a cost benefit. If I don't shut down the bleeding, like if I can't get control of it with direct pressure, and I can't get her to care in time, and I don't stop that bleeding, she's going to die. She's going to go into hypovolemic or hemorrhagic shock because she's going to lose too much blood. So I've got to get it shut down. So again, last resort to use a tourniquet. Pressure bandage first. If you still can't get it shut down and there is a significant amount of blood, remember it only takes 1 quart or more to put an adult victim into shock, into hypovolemic shock, and 1 pint for a child. So you don't have a lot of time.